The last line of mercy, when 8 warriors stood between 1,200 lives and 40 killers. Imagine you are surrounded by ocean. Nothing but water in every direction. You are a doctor. Your hands are trained to heal, not to fight. And then, at exactly 1741 hours on June 12th, the radar screen in front of you lights up with 5 fast-moving contacts. Closing. Fast. Aggressive. You are not on a warship. You have no missiles. No cannons. No armor. You are on a hospital ship, and those contacts are coming for you. Now imagine that standing between you and 40 armed killers are exactly 8 men. 8. That's it. No reinforcements within reach. No air support for another 40 minutes. Just 8 Navy SEALs, their rifles, and an unbreakable oath that says, nobody boards this ship. This is not a movie. This is not a training exercise. This happened. And what those 8 operators did in the next 19 minutes will leave you speechless. If stories like this make your blood run hot with pride, you are in exactly the right place. Stay with me, because this one gets intense fast. The ship, the mission, the stakes. The USNS Comfort had been anchored 11 nautical miles off the Horn of Africa coast for 22 days when everything changed. She was there on a humanitarian mission. No politics, no aggression, just American medicine delivered to people who had nothing. Over 3 weeks, her crew of 1,150 personnel, doctors, surgeons, nurses, corpsmen, and civilian mariners, had treated more than 7,400 patients. Cleft palate surgeries on children, emergency amputations, malaria treatments, cataract removals that gave blind men their sight back. The kind of work that reminds you what American power, at its best, actually looks like. The Comfort stretched 894 feet from bow to stern. She displaced 70,000 tons. Her hull was painted brilliant white, marked with 3 massive red crosses, the international symbol that tells every nation, every military, every armed group on Earth. This vessel is protected. Do not attack. Pirates don't read international law. What do you think? Should a hospital ship operating in pirate waters have armed escorts at all times? Drop your answer below. Hidden among the medical staff were 8 Navy SEALs from SEAL Team 8, Bravo Platoon. Their presence was classified. Their mission was simple. If the ship was threatened, they were the last line of defense for over 1,000 non-combatants. Their commander was Lieutenant Commander James Reeves, 41 years old, 18 years in naval special warfare, the kind of quiet professional who never raises his voice because he never needs to. Each SEAL carried a suppressed 416 Hong Kong dollars assault rifle with 7 magazines, 210 rounds total, a SIG M18 sidearm, for flashbang grenades, 2 smoke grenades. No crew served weapons, no heavy firepower, just personal gear, personal skill, and an absolute refusal to fail. The threat materializes. At 17:19 hours, the Comfort's bridge watch picked up 5 radar contacts emerging from a coastal inlet approximately 7 miles north. Speed, 38 knots. Formation, tight, deliberate. Heading, direct intercept. The watch officer, a veteran civilian mariner named Chief Bosun Torres, had seen this pattern before in the Red Sea. He didn't hesitate. Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is USNS Comfort. 5 fast movers inbound. Suspected pirate action. Position 02 degree 18 north, 45 degree 42 east. All stations requesting immediate assistance. The nearest U.S. Navy warship, the destroyer USS Jason Dunham, was 190 nautical miles away. Hours, not minutes. The nearest coalition aircraft were lifting off from Djibouti even as the call went out, but they needed 43 minutes to reach the Comfort's position. 43 minutes is an eternity when men with rocket launchers are 4 miles away and closing. Lieutenant Commander Reeves received the alert at 17:21. He gathered his team in 30 seconds flat. 5 boats, estimated 40 to 45 hostiles. RPGs confirmed on visual from bridge. We are the only defense the ship has. Nobody boards. Everyone clear. 7 operators answered in unison. They drilled this scenario dozens of times aboard the Comfort. Now it was real. Can you imagine what that moment feels like, knowing that over 1,000 lives depend entirely on the aid of you? If you were Reeves right now, what's your first order? Contact. At 17:23 hours, the 5 speedboats split into attack groups. 3 swung wide to approach the port side amidships, the Comfort's lowest and most accessible deck. 2 curved around to the starboard side and the stern helicopter platform. Standard pirate doctrine. Overwhelm multiple access points simultaneously. Force the defenders to split. Create chaos. Board fast. The pirates fired AK-47 bursts into the air as they closed. Classic intimidation. The message was clear. Surrender now and nobody gets hurt. Chief Petty Officer Daniel Yun was prone behind a ventilation housing on the port side, his 416 Hong Kong dollars suppressed and steady, watching the first grappling hook arc over the railing and bite into the deck. He waited, disciplined, letting the first pirate climb high enough to commit. Then he fired twice. The pirate dropped. Yun shifted. 2 more shots. Another pirate fell backward into the churning water between the hull and the speedboat. The boats erupted in return fire, AK-47 rounds pinging and sparking across the metal deck around Yun's position. He pulled back behind cover, controlled his breathing, and waited for the angle to open again. On the starboard side, Lieutenant Commander Reeves and Petty Officer First Class Alicia Monroe engaged 2 boarders climbing near the helicopter deck. Reeves fired controlled pairs, 2 rounds per target, textbook. Monroe spotted an RPG gunner in the nearest boat raising his launcher and put a single round through his shoulder before he could fire. The rocket-propelled grenade tumbled harmlessly into the water. For 4 minutes, 8 SEALs held 40 pirates at bay through sheer precision and discipline. Does it give you chills knowing that 8 people, 8, were doing this? That's American Special Operations training on full display. The crisis point. At 17:27, the math caught up with them. 1 pirate made it over the rail on the port side, dropping to the deck behind a lifeboat station and immediately laying down fire to cover his companions climbing behind him. 3 more were on the ladder. If they reached the deck, close quarters combat inside a ship full of patients and unarmed medical staff would become unavoidable. Chief Yun called it. I've got 1 on deck, covered behind the lifeboat mount. Webb, I need an angle. Reeves made the call in under 2 seconds. He pulled a smoke grenade, yanked the pin, and threw it on a perfect arc toward the pirate's position. White smoke billowed across the deck instantly. Yun. 5 seconds. Move. Yun sprinted through the smoke, closed to 12 meters, and engaged the pirate through the haze. 1 burst. 3 rounds. The threat was down. But now Yun was exposed, and 2 more pirates crested the rail 20 meters behind him, weapons up. Petty Officer Monroe, watching from her starboard position, crossed the deck at a dead sprint and engaged both pirates simultaneously, suppression fire forcing them into cover and giving Yun the half-second he needed to reach a bulkhead. At 17:29, a pirate boat that had maneuvered outside the SEAL's field of fire raised an RPG-7 and fired. The rocket struck the Comfort superstructure above the main deck. The warhead, designed to punch through armored steel, detonated against the lighter hull plating. The explosion tore jagged shrapnel through 3 compartments. Inside, medical staff and patients hit the floor. 2 crew members were wounded. The lights flickered and held. Reeves knew they had minutes, not seconds, before the next RPG round found something critical. An engine room vent, a fuel line, a ward full of patients. He got on the ship-wide channel. Bridge, fire suppression system. I need every high-pressure hose on the main deck, port and starboard, maximum flow. Now, the turning point. At 17:32, the Comfort's fire suppression system, built to fight 2,000-degree shipboard fires, came alive. Dozens of high-pressure hoses, each delivering water at over 100 psi, opened simultaneously across the main deck. The jets hit pirates on ladders with the force of a fire hose at point-blank range. Men were thrown backward off the hull, knocked into the sea, or sent tumbling back into their boats. A pirate reaching for the rail was hit mid-climb by a solid column of water and disappeared into the ocean below. 2 speedboats immediately disengaged and fled north at full throttle. The crews had not signed up for this. The remaining 3 boats tried to maneuver out of range, but the SEALs, now partially shielded by the water spray, used the confusion to push back aggressively, forcing pirates off deck positions and back over the railings. Who would have thought of using a fire hose as a weapon in a gunfight? That right there is American ingenuity under pressure. What do you think? At 17:35, Reeves heard what every operator under fire prays for. Rotors. 2 MH-60 are Seahawk helicopters from the Carrier Strike Group, diverted from patrol 90 miles away, came in hard and low from the northeast. Their door gunners opened up with M240 machine guns before the pirate boats even had time to react. The sustained fire shredded 2 boats in under 60 seconds. Engines destroyed, hulls taking on water. A 3rd boat attempted to run. The lead Seahawk swung wide, cut off the escape route, and the door gunner stitched a line of rounds across the boat's bow. The engine died. The boat drifted. At 17:41 hours, exactly 19 minutes after the first pirate touched the Comfort's hull, the last speedboat signaled surrender with hands raised and weapons thrown overboard. The aftermath. Final count. Pirates killed, 21. Wounded, 11. Captured, 8. SEALs, 0 casualties. Comfort crew, 2 wounded by RPG shrapnel, both non-life-threatening. The USNS Comfort remained on station. The humanitarian mission continued. In the 7 days that followed the attack, her medical teams treated 1,400 more patients, including 3 children from the same coastal community where the pirates had launched their assault. The 8 SEALs of Bravo platoon rotated back to their quarters, cleaned their weapons, filed their after-action reports, and went back to being invisible among the medical staff. No press conference, no medal ceremony on the deck, just quiet professionals who did an impossible job and walked away. Lieutenant Commander Reeves wrote one line in his personal log that night. Ship is safe. Mission continues. That's it. 5 words. Can you feel the weight of those 5 words? After 19 minutes of hell, that's all he wrote. 8 men, 40 attackers, 1,000 lives in the balance. 19 minutes. There are no perfect words for what the SEALs of Bravo platoon did on June 12th. They were outgunned. They were outnumbered 5-1. They had no artillery, no warships, no air cover for the first critical minutes. They had training, discipline, and a refusal to quit that goes bone deep in every man and woman who earns that trident. The USNS Comfort sailed home with every one of her 1,150 personnel alive. The children who received surgery that week will grow up. The patients who receive care will live lives they would not have had. And somewhere in that, quiet and unannounced, 8 warriors made it possible. America doesn't always project power through missiles and carrier groups. Sometimes it looks like a doctor and a scalpel on a white ship in dangerous waters. And sometimes, when the world refuses to respect that, it looks like 8 SEALs and a fire hose. Now I want to hear from you. Should hospital ships operating in high-threat regions permanently carry armed special operations security teams, even if that changes their protected status under international law? And if you had been one of those 8 SEALs on that deck, what's the one thing you would have needed to stay calm? Drop your answer below. The best responses get pinned.